Sadly, XDefiant is shutting down. So Mark Rubin tweeted out this: "Hello, XDefiant fans. I am unfortunately here today to announce that XDefiant will be shutting down. Starting today, December 3rd, 2024, new downloads and player registrations will no longer be available. We will still release our Season 3 content in the near future. Exact date TBD, and the servers will remain active until June 3rd, 2025. For those who purchased the Ultimate Founders Pack, you'll receive a full refund. Players who made any purchases within the last 30 days will also be fully refunded. Those refunds should happen automatically within 8 weeks of today, and you can find more details on our official website, xdefiant.com. A few years ago, Ubisoft and the San Francisco dev team embarked on a bold adventure to develop a new arcade shooter called XDefiant. It was from the start an incredible challenge. Not only were we trying to shake up the genre by removing skill-based matchmaking, SBMM, while bringing back a more old-school arcade shooter experience, but we were also diving into the high-risk, high-reward realm of free-to-play. And for that, I want to applaud not only the dev team, but also Ubisoft leadership for taking that chance. Free to play, in particular, is a long journey. Many free to play games take a long time to find their footing and become profitable. It's a long journey that Ubisoft and the teams working on the game were prepared to make until very recently, but unfortunately, the journey became too much to sensibly continue. I am, of course, heartbroken to be writing this post. Yes, this game has been a personal passion for me for years, and yes, I know that not all challenges lead to victory, but I also want to recognize all the developers who are being affected by this closure. Each and every one of them as real person with a real life separate from our own, and they have all put so much of their own passion into making this game, and I hope that they can be proud of what they did achieve. I know that I will always be proud and grateful to have worked with such a great team, a team that really punched above its weight class, and what they achieved is truly remarkable. The early response from players when XDefiant launched was amazing. We broke internal records for the fastest game to surpass 5 million users, and in the end, we had over 15 million players play our game. That is something to be extremely proud of, especially considering how tough this genre is. So thank you to all the developers who put their passion into making this game. And there's one thing I hope we can all take away from this experience. It's the importance of open, honest communication between developers and players. This player first mentality, along with respectful, non toxic conversations between developers and players, has been one of the standout differences that made XDefiant so special. From my very first post about XDefiant, this was the vision I wanted to champion, and I hope it leaves a positive mark on how the game industry treats its players and communities. To our players, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I want to express my deepest gratitude for the incredible community that has grown around XDefiant. Your passion, creativity, and dedication have inspired us every step of the way with the utmost of love and respect. Mark. Okay, so that's a very long post, but it's a good post. So I think, unlike some of the stories that there's so many games. XDefiant's a game I did play a decent amount of. And to be fair, I played a lot when it first came out and then kind of didn't play as much. And that's not actually something to say like, oh, see, it wasn't good. I completely disagree. Other games came out. I was doing other things. It wasn't really the fact that that game wasn't good. I thought the game was really good. I thought it was a perfect, kind of like, everyone kept calling it the COD killer. And I was more of the view that it wasn't necessarily the COD killer. It was, just actually something good to have along with Call of Duty. That's how I viewed it. And I just think the COD killer narrative was one that was wrong. But it's sad that it's shutting down because I do think this was actually a good game. Now, I don't know exactly, why it was failing. I still see a lot of people who liked it initially still like it. I think he makes a good point that this is pretty you know, uh, look, I think he's right. This is a pretty tough, market to get into because Call of Duty dominates it so much. And I don't exactly know all the things. I'm sure we'll get more stories on what exactly the reason was. Ubisoft is going through some things, so that could be part of it too. But overall, I thought the game was good. I thought it had a chance. And part of the problem, I will say, is that, you know, when you look at the game, as a whole, there just wasn't, when you're doing these kind of live service games, it's really tough to kind of make one that can compete with the other live service style games. Meaning, if they let's say this was a paid game and you paid $60 and you had all of this content instead of it being live service, there's a chance that that would have had a higher likelihood of success in a way just based off the fact that they would just be competing amongst every other, $60 game. Whereas, if you look at Fortnite or even Call of Duty, even though it's a $60 game that is in some ways, live service at least for a year with all the updates that happen, it's just tough to kind of be able to dominate that much because all of these games take so much of your time. So let's say someone likes Fortnite and they like XDefiant. Well, you can only play one game really. Sure, you could be playing both, but to play both is going to mean you're going to be playing video games all the time, and not everybody has that kind of time. And so I just think it's so tough to break into that. And I didn't think that XDefiant had enough. Uh, for people just like you said, they had a ton of people playing the game. He broke down all those records that they set, and my guess is that a lot of those people played the game and liked it. That was the experience I had. I played a lot of it. I really enjoyed it. We were even making some content about it, and it was good. It wasn't a bad game by any stretch. And when I say it wasn't a bad game, in fact, I enjoyed it to the point where I was excited to see where it would go. But the fact that I was not playing it anymore, why that was, well, there just wasn't enough to keep me there, I guess, with all the other stuff that was coming out. You had Call of Duty coming out, you had all this other stuff. And do I think it's better than Call of Duty? No. Do I think it was good to have around? Yes. It certainly, and I should rephrase that. When I'm talking better than Call of Duty, I don't mean like Call of Duty is a much better game. What I'm saying is, do I think it replaces Call of Duty? No, but it still served its purpose. And it's sad to see it go because I honestly don't understand. And I want to see the articles that come out after this. I honestly don't understand what the point of shutting down the game was, because it's one of those things where did you really even give it a chance? This idea that you were going to have a live service game that just right off the jump was going to be able to take off and dominate. You got to give it some time. Let them fully get the game going before that happens. But we did talk about in prior videos. Listen, they had to really take advantage of the initial stuff they brought out, because a lot of people are talking about, well, the game is getting even better. You could read the comments you could read the comments under Mark's post, and it's like we'll read some of them now. So Blame Truth, who he was a big time Call of Duty guy and really one of the first Call of Duty guys on YouTube, I believe. And he said this: gutted, I feel like the game was about to find its footing with season 3 too. Assassin's Creed themed season was going to be sick. So he thought it was going to be sick. The Assassin's Creed theme was going to be sick, and he put more of that too. But that's the main part I wanted to read. I wish Ubi had been smart enough to put the game on Steam, but here we are. That's another good point. Damn, this must have been a tough post to write. You go down the list here. Hard to hear. Appreciate all the effort you put into the game and wish you the best your next venture, whatever it may be. It was a pleasure covering your game. This is from XDefiant Alerts news feed. So this is just a XDefiant account. Now, it's interesting that, an account like this probably feels the same way, because what is that account going to become? They're going to have to rebrand that, certainly. But I don't know. That's all we really got here. I just think it is sad. There's no question about it. It's terrible, in a lot of ways, that a game like this couldn't have gotten, I think, its full life cycle, meaning if it was dead by the end, fine. But I don't think it was dead now. And it was this core group of fans that were still playing it. And you just wonder, had they stuck with it, had, Ubisoft not pulled the plug on this thing, is there a chance that down the line they could have been able to really give this thing another push? And at that point, the game would be ready to go? I think so.